Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Attic Gaming Club podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you join us again, if this is your first time, go back and check out episode 1. It's full of awesome, I promise. Just to introduce us again, we're just a group of local guys in London who get together more or less once a week and play mainly specialist games, you know, Mordheim, Necromunda and other non-GW stuff as well.
Nice.
So, with me today are the 3 loser-tears.
Stooges.
To my right, we have Dave.
Woo! No.
Woo! Yeah. I've also got Sam. Yeah, they can't see your actions. There's no video. Excellent. Well, he was pretending to suck on something.
If only he was silent that much of the time.
Winning.
Yeah. And also Tom.
Hello.
Welcome, Tom. Tom's
Thank you.
definitely not actually sucking on something.
It's tasty and I like it.
Oh god, it's a new low. Excellent. Anyway, so yeah, obviously you're probably listening to this on YouTube at the moment because that's pretty much the only place we're putting them up. So you can, if you want to, contact us. You can get in contact through the channel, which is Attic Gaming Club. You can also email us at atticgamingclub@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at Attic Gaming Club. Actually, we're also on Facebook now. I forgot I started a page.
Yay for Facebook.
Nobody likes it, but
It's never
I like
official
it.
it's on Facebook.
no, exactly. You can also just search Attic Gaming Club on Facebook if you so wish and be our friends, because we have no friends. So we've pretty much been gaming all day today. Some of us
been working.
Yeah, you don't work.
Shh, phone.
Oh god, silence phone. So we've been playing. What have we been playing today? Some Necromunda mostly, haven't we?
Yep.
I'd say mostly, entirely.
That would be true.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we'll talk about that shortly, but first, I know it's not been too long since the last podcast, but anybody seen anything new or interesting in wargaming terms?
Nothing
worlds?
from me. I have done no painting, no hobby-related reading. I've just done nothing but vegetate and eat over the Christmas period.
Oh, thanks for sharing. That's I'm sure that's of great interest to everyone listening.
I think it is.
Excellent.
I got book 4 in the Horus Heresy set of books. That
Cool.
are books. And I started reading that and it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Flight of the Eisenstein.
That is good.
Did you start reading those Thankwell books I gave you?
No, because I knew I was getting that.
No, that's fine.
But they will come shortly afterwards.
Okay.
It doesn't take me long to read the thingy books, they're quite short.
Samola. I know you've been buying some stuff and putting stuff together.
Well, mostly bought these Otherworld miniatures, Evil Acolytes, which I'm going to be using as my Mordheim game, and they look amazing. They're kind of old school D&D style / Ku Klux Klan, which, you know,
It's always good.
it's brilliant. And I used a couple of their models called Shadows, as I'm going to be using them as my Possessed. And they're kind of like these weird, anamorphic, cloaked things. And I think they look pretty cool because they go really well with the cloaked Evil Acolyte figures. They basically just look really, really old school in generic cheesy poses and holding up daggers to stab people, etc. and pointing at people. And there's one guy who's just basically rocking out hard metal style despite holding a scroll in his other hand. He's just having it large.
Air guitar and a scroll. That's nice.
Pretty much, yeah. Another dude is like, you know, to be or not to be by holding a skull and a dagger. You know, why not? Yeah, I don't know, they're just really interesting and cool models, which I want to use for my Mordheim game. I've not really been doing a lot else other than that. I've been looking at a lot of Blood Bowl miniatures because of I love Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl's great.
Cool.
So, but I haven't bought anything yet because I'm poor.
Nice.
Shit.
Speaking of Blood Bowl, it's quite possible that later today the Steam sale will have the new Chaos Edition for like 60% off or something, so it'll be about £8 or whatever.
That's cool.
So if
that's
anyone
cool.
hasn't got it and is interested, then go
I've
for
got
it.
the
Is that the
Legendary
entire
edition.
game?
That's the entire game plus all the new races from the recent update.
I might need to look into that.
Yeah. They're both on sale at the moment for like maybe 40 or 50% or 25
Right.
and 75%.
Can you just get that upgrade? Because I've got the Legendary edition, but I don't
If
have
you
the...
already have the Steam version of Legendary, I believe you get a discount on the Chaos Edition.
Okay.
But only if you have the Steam version. Anyway.
I think I have the boxed version of Legendary. So I get nothing.
Yeah, that's what I had originally, but then I bought the Steam one itself for like £2, so that worked it out for me.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah, I got the Steam version, but
Cool. Well, it doesn't help anyone that's listening here, because chances are this will...
yeah, pretty much.
If you're listening live,
Already gone.
tell us your thoughts, call in.
Don't call in.
01800 Dave's mum.
I like that she's got a free phone number. Like, you know, she doesn't need to rely on the call costs to her business.
I'm going to kill you all.
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, I haven't really been up to... I say I haven't been up to a lot. I've been up to a fair amount, actually. I painted up a bunch of loot counters for Necromunda.
Yeah.
So those are cool. Continue painting my spires for a friend. Definitely didn't paint one yellow and pink. And yeah, worked on some more castings, the Hearst Arts stuff, getting the board together for Mordheim, which we're going to be playing later today. Mordheim is the game of choice today. However, it's going to be on pretty cobbled together scenery, random bits and pieces, so we're just sort of testing out rules rather than...
Mordheim is the game of choice, even though you've been playing Necromunda all day.
It's the game of choice tonight.
Oh, okay.
And for the podcast.
For the one game.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's that's pretty much what's
that covers
we've
most
been
things, I
up
think.
to. Yeah. What about, I say, in the news? Has anyone seen anything?
No,
new?
can't say they have lots of general games workshop people going, hey, come over and look at our new funky games, but that's it really.
I saw the what is it? The new Hobbit board game. That it comes with that scenery. It comes with like the Goblin Town.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got one too.
So I went into GW just before Christmas and had a look at that, and it's quite nice actually. Like
There's some nice stuff.
the actual scenery bits, like the kind of wooden planks and ladders and all that kind of stuff. You get quite a lot in the set. So I was thinking maybe picking up one or two of those for more time. Be quite good for sort of makeshift bridges between houses and over canals.
Quite expensive though, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Considering the models and the terrain you're getting it, relatively, it's probably cheap compared with buying terrain separately from GW.
well, I wasn't thinking of getting the Hobbit box set because they sell the Goblin Town separately.
Oh, do they?
I think it's £35, so you get that from a discount retailer to around 30, just
like
under, and it gives you probably enough wooden planks and stuff to cover a Mordheim board. So it's like a one-off purchase, and it comes with whatever, like 4 ladders and a couple of big, chunky, square wooden base kind of things, for the centre of the town, and then a whole bunch of like connecting bits.
I like the
walkways.
descriptive language here. Chunky, square, blocky things with wooden bits, and
There you go.
it's good.
Yeah, you can go onto GW as well. If you listen to this on YouTube, you've got access to the internet, and thus can go onto the Games Workshop website if you really want to know what this looks like. But
I don't think they need to look at anything because they've obviously got this vivid mental image now.
there you go, my excellent descriptive capabilities. But anyway, it's good. So I looked in there to see the actual quality, and it's good. Lots of skulls everywhere. Of course, wouldn't be GW without skulls.
Skull Crushers.
But yeah, it's all right. So I figure I'll probably pick up one of them. I've got to start building buildings first before I worry about that. But yeah. So other than that Dice Rings Kickstarter ended.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. How did it go in the end?
Kicked ass.
You all owe me money.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it went. They got a ridiculous amount. I think they were asking for like 15,000. I think they got like 320,000 in total.
They
in the
added
end.
a couple of new ring types at the end, past the notch life counter, didn't they?
They added 3R6.
Oh yeah.
So you can have 3 separate rings, I think it is, that each have a D6 on them.
Right.
So good if you were
one
rolling.
ring, as it were.
Yeah, on one ring. So it's going to be quite a chunky ring. But yeah, it looks kind of cool.
Cool.
They confirmed the life counter ring. So the one that doesn't spin, that just kind of clicks around. So you can use it to track life from obviously 0 to 29, I guess it is. It might even be more than that. I guess it would be more
There's
than
20
that.
on each, wasn't it?
It's got to be 10 on each, isn't it? So I guess 0 to 99.
Yeah, you could do it like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that one's kind of cool. It's got like banding in the middle, so it kind of clicks around as you move it, so it doesn't just spin freely like the other rings. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, they're going to sell all these rings after the Kickstarter's fulfilled anyway. So even if you are listening to this and thought all those sound cool, obviously you can't get in on the Kickstarter now. But give it sort of March next year, which I think is when they're hoping to fulfill all Kickstarter orders. And then they were going to be selling these on their website anyway, so you can go and pick up any of these rings. They do them in like 4 different colours as well.
Yeah, you got brass, blue, black, and
Gold.
Go.
No, actually, I think it's. I don't think it's a brass. I think it's like a gold and a rose gold.
Oh, okay.
It's like a.
It looked brassy to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
I don't know what the actual
rosy gold
colour is.
kind of. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so that was kind of cool. Oh God, Sam!
Shut your face.
Interrupting.
Spoilers.
Like the interrupting orange. Anyway, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's all the news from me.
Wait. Nobody's obviously seen the amazing news.
We haven't seen or heard it.
Is this that you need?
Are you
the
going to
toilet?
fart?
No. Has anyone seen the Rick Priestley, creator of 40k, is making a new game?
Personally,
Is it called 41k?
No, it's not.
39.5k.
That'd be a really good game, wouldn't it? Slightly less K than 40k.
Okay.
No, he's making a new game and associated with Wargames, I believe, which is like a historical miniatures maker.
Ooh.
And they do really good stuff. Like, I've got them on I've got like their newsletter coming to my email every now and then. I bought some stuff from them before. Basically like 28mm plastic historical gaming stuff mostly, but they do have some other stuff on there. And he's been I don't know, he's been working with them. I think he made Black Powder as one rule set for like kind of musket era wargaming, and there's another one, Hail Caesar, for like Roman related, etc.
So
like
is this
wargaming.
new rule set more historical in base?
No, this new rule set that he's making is a futuristic wargame.
Yay!
And he's doing a Kickstarter which starts on the 1st of January, and I think there's about 4 races that he's kind of invented. There's a website. I've only really briefly looked into it, but the premise is that if you join the Kickstarter, you will get access to a forum where you can have an input into what happens in the universe and how the game's created. So it's kind of interesting looking.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, he was obviously the original creator of 40k, not subsequent
Iterations, so
Yeah.
stow your hate, people.
Yeah, basically.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the first 4 races are humans, orcs, Eldar, and Zerg. Not Zerg, sorry, Tyranids.
Well, from
You
what
know
I've seen, like, one's a human race. I think one's like a cyborg race.
Necrons.
One's like some kind of weird-looking aliens. There's only one model for that. There's only one model I've actually seen for the entire project so far, which is this weird alien hanging off of like some stuff. It doesn't really look like anything. Yeah, it looks kind of like a cross between a zombie and a gene stealer or something like that. I don't know.
It'll be good to see it grow.
Yeah, and there's another race,
come
and I can't remember exactly what they are. But it's supposed to be. It's not like really far in the future. It's a bit more
Next week or something.
Well, it's far in the future, but it's not like this kind of a bazillion years in the future and we've all forgotten kind of stuff. It's
A bazillion years.
It's like, I think the premise is that everyone's like expanded from Earth and made colonies. Earth got blown up somehow,
As it does.
naturally, and like the regular star system all got ruined. And there's this kind of weird gateway portal that got made by an ancient race, and that's how you travel. You go through these gates and then fight each other.
Definitely
I don't
nothing
know.
to do with Elder.
No Eldar at all. I really don't know how it's going to shape up, but I don't know. It looks interesting anyway to begin with.
Well, it's a good one to.
It'd be interesting
check
to see
out.
what the pledges are, and you know, if you pledge $5 or whatever, what will you get for that pledge?
Thanks.
You know.
Might be nice to get some sort of PDF or digital version of the rules from some of the lower pledge levels. Hopefully, maybe like I say $5 or $10 to get like the playtesting rules or something, just so you could sort of you want to help them get it started, but maybe not necessarily buy into a whole new system yet without seeing more. So that's for me would be a good level to try it, to read the rules, to see what they've got going on.
Well, you'd have to wait and see, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah. Well, first isn't too far away, is it?
3 days, 4 days.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, interesting, and certainly the most newsy thing I've seen recently.
Cool.
Concerning wargaming.
Cool. Well, that'll be the news for this week then.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce.
Maybe
Excellent.
some kind of BBC News outro. Really dramatic music. That's countdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Couldn't be any less dramatic than Countdown, could it? Let's be fair.
Anyway.
Oh, God. Okay, cool. Alright, so obviously, you know, we've been playing a bit of Necromunda today, so
Just a bit.
maybe we could talk a little bit about the games that we've been playing today. Sam, you and I had a game earlier on, didn't we?
We did Scavvies vs Bitches.
Escher?
I'm sorry.
PG-13.
Whatever.
12 plus, I guess we're in Europe.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was raiding your gaff.
Easily.
Gaff means house for anyone who doesn't live in England and in London.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, raided, got 3 loot counters, decided to bottle because I'm Scavvies and 3 loot counters is great.
Yeah.
And I get to keep anything past 26 creds because I've got 13 gang members.
Did you turn the loot counters into creds first, or did you just eat them as loot counters?
No,
Because I wouldn't put it past the Scavvies.
creds first,
Okay.
later consume.
Yeah. It's pretty uneventful game really, actually, wasn't it? I mean, not a lot went on.
Truthfully. I kind of sneaked about. You waited to try and get your flamer on, which eventually you did. Flamed some people. Bit too much for me. I
Yeah. That was the turning point, I think, for that one. It was just kind of like there was only started with D6 gang members, which was 5, so I rolled okay, but even so, compared to your 13 swarm that came in.
And I forgot to roll my followers.
Exactly.
And bring them on. So I could have had an extra 3 to 6 models on.
There you go. So, so my 5 guys were doing okay to hold up against your guys.
Although one girl literally just got really afraid by a charge and ran away and never came back.
Yeah, that's true, that did happen.
Did she get charged and ran off the board? Or?
Yeah. She didn't run off the board, but
she
she
just ran
hid.
and hid for like 4 turns or something.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't pass her leadership test.
Yeah.
And I literally, the most eventful thing that happened was like my leader charged someone, my fear causing guy charged someone, and one ran away, leader just munched on her, the other one that is, and that's it. Like, job done. I collected more loot.
Then
he came on and flamed me.
And I think it was. I rolled for my flamer group.
Got exactly the right position he needed.
Exactly the right one. They popped on right next to a big chunk of your army in the right, where they were all clustered together.
Get out of my house.
Flamed 3. Took 3 down. I think 1 was a flesh wound, 2 were downs.
Yeah.
Which was enough to make you think twice about.
Pretty much. I mean, if that hadn't have happened, I would have continued to get more loot counters, I think. I mean, I'd have taken more wounds, but so would he, I reckon, so it would have balanced, give or take, depending on the dice rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, if the flamers had come on anywhere else, it wouldn't have been even close to as devastating as that side of the board, so...
No, obviously, with the short range, that was the only place it could have come on and be useful, really.
Yeah. If it had come on over the long side of the board, let's say, it would have been too far to do anything for a few turns, so I could have collected some more loot. If it had come on the opposite side of the board, it did come on. I had everyone in the centre on that side, so it would have needed probably 2 turns, well, at least the turn it came on, plus the next turn to be useful, and I could have obviously negated that by running away from it.
Yeah.
So I would have considered continuing the game, but as it was like, not really worth it.
No. So,
and I got loads of creds out of it. I got like 50 creds.
Yeah.
Which I straight up just got to keep, so...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was happy enough. Obviously, you bottled, so technically I won, so I got a good chunk of experience for my leader from that, but generally I didn't really take any damage, so...
Yeah, I injured one person, didn't I?
Yeah, you took that guy out in combat with your leader.
What happened, fully recovered? Or?
Yeah, fully recovered, so...
I didn't get any damage from any of mine. I think I got 1 person out as well, or maybe 2, and I got nothing.
I think, one guy was taken out. It was the guy that was running across, and he got sniped in the face from my las gunner, who was sitting at the top of one of the towers.
Oh, yeah. One person I got out of action, didn't I?
Yeah, and the flamer guys just went down, nobody went out.
Yep, so it was no real issue for me either.
Yeah, I think upgrade-wise, I got a weapon skill on somebody and a bonus attack, and that was pretty much it. Some creds, which I bought Among Vars with, which I was hoping would be cheap, but it wasn't. It turned out to be 50 creds, and obviously you have to commit to buy it before you roll to see how much it is. So I was going to go for it, and then rolled up a 5, so it cost me 50 creds. So
You kind of munged that roll.
I did. Thanks for that, Dave. But yeah, and then after that game, Tom arrived.
I did.
And we got a little 3-way action going.
We did.
Ooh, yay.
This one was another one of our custom scenarios, wasn't it?
Pretty much made up on the spot, I think.
Yeah.
It was very London themed though. Rob the cash point.
Basically, rob the cash point.
Yeah. Tom, do you want to describe the scenario?
They essentially used the same scenario setup they had from the previous game, which was more or less 3 towers, maybe 8 inches apart in a line. And we decided in the centre one was basically a machine which was just pumping out credits. So Fluffpine was essentially a guilder who had been travelling through and had been ambushed and had dropped his savings, but they were in a lockbox, so you could only get so many of them out each turn. So as long as you had someone in the tower at the start of each player turn, after you went in there, so say Adam went in first, he'd get credits in Sam's turn and in my own turn at the start. You got D6 credits, and you couldn't do anything else while you were in there because you was pulling all the money out of the box and trying to stuff it away. So essentially was you got credits the longer you were in there. And we decided D6 each turn was fair because there's no set turn limit, so you have a potential to be in there for ages. So we wanted it to be worthwhile to get in there, but not so ridiculous that you'd get in there and suddenly all your gangers were carrying around power saws after the game because you had so much money.
Yeah. And yeah, we just played normal win-lose bottle results, didn't we?
Yeah.
Other than that, it was... Oh, when we randomised the gangers to start as well.
Yeah, we did it again, our 2d6 plus 3.
2d3.
2d3 plus 3. Because it gives a good variation. I think the least you can have is 5, and the most you can have is 9. So it's a variation of 4, which isn't too bad. I think we all started off fairly similar. I think you each had 6. And
I
had
think 5.
7. You had 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I started off with...
I started off with the lowest, but then I rolled up followers for my
Yeah.
Scavvy boss, which gave me 3 ghouls.
Yeah.
Which was very nice.
Extremely annoying, so it took ages for me to kill.
You loving those ghouls?
Yeah, ghouls are great.
Yeah.
They're great. The people are surprisingly effective at getting rid of them. I want them to be a little bit more resilient than they are.
Well, the whole thing about them is that whilst we're pumping all these shots into killing your ghouls, the rest of your gang is running
they're
around.
effective at doing what they're doing, so I'm not... I just want them to be slightly more effective than they have been. Like, hurt you.
As long as they're not getting serious injuries, or by balance, I suppose, experience, but they're not anything you have to worry about getting hurt.
No. I think they've been doing very
extra
well.
wounds,
I'm not
aren't they?
saying they're doing poorly. I'm saying I'd like them to do just a tiny little bit better, like tying people up in combat's better, like they did in the first game I used them. That was
Maybe
really
you should
effective,
roll better
so-
dice.
Yeah,
Maybe I should.
they're not magic ghouls.
No.
If you suck as a player, then they're not going to do anything.
Well, of course. That's got nothing to do with it. So,
No, well, I think
realistically, what happened to them is like they really had to run out into the open on that side because otherwise there was nothing else to do with them over there.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
they
wasn't
held me
disappointed
back.
with how I used them or anything. They had to run out into the open because it was that or my gangers get shot up by Tom's gang. So that's fine. I've got no
They
problem with that.
created a buffer where I couldn't really go because if I go in and I don't kill them, or at least pinning them was what I was really after, as long as I pin them both. But looked at their stats, and if one of them gets into combat with the Juve is almost certainly going out of action because the ghoul is just better. So it stopped me running in too close to get to the cash machine just because there was only 2 ghouls in there. It wasn't particularly difficult to get rid of them. They never really were particularly threatening, but they did keep me back for about 3 turns, I think.
Yeah,
Which in terms of I could have been
they're high
running towards the
toughness
centre.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're quite good. No, I mean I was quite happy with how they performed on that front. So
I think even the one that you sent over to me did its job because it just sat in front of your scally, and I had to shoot that one first to get at your scally, so it was effectively an extra wound. sitting on your Scally. You know, you didn't care if it died.
And your Scally already has too many wounds.
I was quite happy in general with how they performed.
Yeah.
So I have no real negatives to say about them. I said I just wish they would have done a little bit more than that. So it's just me being wishful, really, more than me thinking they were rubbish.
Indeed.
They're brilliant. You know, fear-causing dudes that run about, and I don't care if they live or die.
And cost you nothing.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Right.
Yeah. And generally, I think they did well.
So.
Yeah, I thought the game was good. I thought it was well balanced. You know, all the different custom rules we put in with regards to, you know, keeping the tower and the amount of gangers we had. I think it worked out quite well.
It was quite satisfying. I think it was an enjoyable game.
The only thing I think we might need to change in the future is maybe have a limit on how many times it can come out. So you roll a dice each time.
Yeah.
I mean,
the money.
Yeah, maybe
well,
roll
got
one
an
or
excessive
whatever.
amount of money.
Yeah,
really.
that's sort of the flip side of it. And then we ended it was the winner, which turned out to be me, got D6 turns of holding it. So I think I managed to get 19 credits from that, which wasn't too bad at all.
Exactly, that's not really great. I mean...
But it's a little bit more in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, considering that you have to then put through your chart to see how much you get out of it, I mean, it's not like...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know,
it's not excessive at all. Like...
I ran up there straight away. I had a girl with sprint, so I triple moving all the way up and managed to hold the tower first. And I was in there for 4 individual turns before somebody ousted me, which obviously netted me 4d6.
Yeah.
When I was working out my credits after the battle, I forgot to roll those 4d6.
Okay.
Worked out how much I would get using the traditional income chart. Dave reminded me, I think it was, about rolling those 4d6. I rolled them and added them to the previous total, and it worked out I got the exact same amount in the income chart anyway. So, you know, it's not a game-breaking amount at all. It's, you know, best case, it's going to top you up to the next level, which
will give you another 5 credits.
Yeah,
or something.
5, 15 maybe if you're lucky.
I mean, I got 3 turns worth, which, including my forage rolls, which I foraged with like 8 of my of my Scavvies, essentially, I ended up with not getting enough to feed my gang.
Yeah.
I was like, I had got 23 credits, so I was like minus 3 credits to feed my gang.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think... Yeah,
I don't think that was game breaking at all.
It just gives you an incentive for an objective for what to do. You know, you're fighting over this money to get as much as possible.
Fine. I mean, I bet even you, with your 6 turns of it, you didn't get an excessive amount out of it at all.
19 out of it in the end, which is slightly below average for 6, but can't complain too much.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was quite good.
Insane at all. I think it was great. I mean, you could probably even increase the amount of credits you got from a scenario like that, and it still wouldn't be broken at all.
Multiply everything by 10.
190 credits.
That would have been quite nice.
Maybe a bit excessive there.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Really, you multiplied by 5, I don't think it would have been excessive. Like,
maybe not.
I would have got loads.
We can experiment a few more times, I think.
Yeah.
It's something we made up on the spur of the moment. I don't think it was too bad at all.
No, I think it was quite good. So yeah, after that battle, what happened to me? I got a guy got a weapon skill upgrade, and one of my Juves got another attack to bring him up to 3 attacks. Also got somebody with crack shot and partially deafened. I'm on a quick draw on another Juve. The partially deafened was a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. I mean, it doesn't do anything. No, the first time you get it doesn't do anything. The second time you get it on the same person, then they get -1 leadership. But since it wasn't on my leader, I don't really care. So yeah, generally that was alright. I sold my Mung bars as well after that game. Netted 46 credits. So since I bought it for 50, -4, but it was worth a try.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You know. About you, Sam? What did you get after that game? Obviously, you talked about your money, but any skill ups?
I got 2 of my guys were wounded, of which 1 got some impressive scars, which is always good. And well, not always actually, but
yeah, it is.
In this case it was good. And my leader got -1 movement from a leg wound.
That was your leader?
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does, but I mean, he's still a badass, so I don't really mind that much.
He's a badass that is not charging as fast as he should be with his power sword.
Yeah, he's now got toughness 4 because he rolled a toughness upgrade, and he's got a power sword, and flak armor.
You could just get Scally to carry him around.
Yeah.
Can make a
Well, my other upgrade, my Skelly got from 2 wounds to 3 wounds, so
Oh,
now
great.
he's like even more of a wound sink.
Toughness 5, 3 wounds.
Toughness 4, he's strength
Oh, is he
5.
strength 5?
Time to buy a rocket
That's still
launcher.
bad.
So,
Las cannons all around.
yeah, well, he's got a spear gun, D3 wounds, have it. But the best thing about the spear gun is just the fact that it knocks you back D6 inches,
Yeah.
which is pretty much always you go flying off of the...
One of my gangers literally flying off the gang.
Yeah, it flew off into a tox bomb marker, so I had to take like 3 wound rolls in one turn.
Horrible.
How many stories did he fall down as well?
2. So he got, I think he got
He
like
hit the
flesh
ground
wounded.
pretty hard.
He got flesh wounded from the spear gun, then he got like knocked down from hitting the ground, and then knocked down again from the tox bomb. So it's like,
What strength's the spear gun? Is it 4 or 5?
6.
It's 6. So you got strength 6 from the spear gun, then strength 6 from falling, and then
Yeah.
the tox bomb afterwards.
Straight
He didn't have a good time, did he?
No, he
didn't.
got mashed. But he didn't go out of action, he was just down. He was just like the most
Wow.
down. Like,
Yeah.
Give that man a toughness increase.
He's now lefty. He's actually no. He's a strength. He's a strength
Oh,
4.
I also got something else. Oh yeah, my mutant with tentacles got a weapon skill upgrade. So now he's got weapon skill 4, 2 attacks because of an extra weapon, and he can take away your best attack.
Didn't you have somebody after the last game sprout an extra head as well?
That was the previous game. Yeah. That was because if you roll on the Scavvies chart, if you roll double 6, they get a mutation.
Just sprouted an extra
So,
head.
extra head.
Does the extra head do let you have like 360 sight or something? Or
180 degrees arc of vision, and you can shoot 2 pistols.
Oh, nice. So it's kind of like
pretty handy.
gunfighter skill with extra.
So I then bought an extra auto pistol for him. So now he's got 2 auto pistols and a club, because he'll get 3 clubs. So
May as well.
Sweet,
Yeah.
why not?
exactly, why not bash you with a club? So those were all of my upgrades, I believe.
Nice. Tom?
Yeah.
Well, mine actually went quite well for me, which was a pleasant change from last week's game. The reason it went well for me is basically the reason I won the game was rather than try and get involved with going into the tower, I just shot the bejesus out of Sam.
Loser.
Which is... sounded enough... I don't think Adam and I even fought once, but sounded enough damage to Adam. Adam failed his bottle test
That's right.
and ran
Scabbies
away.
are real men, everyone else puss.
Well, mine are women.
There is that.
They're
Equals-
real women. Careful now.
They look more like me.
Yeah.
And then...
Well.
It wasn't too long after that Sam, one of my Jeeves, shot his leader in the face, at which point he's only got leadership 6 as your highest. So it wasn't too long before
I'd
you
like to
bottled out.
mention that my leader power sworded your leader into oblivion.
He did. we had a power sword off, and you rolled very well, rolled well, and I really didn't. I think I didn't roll
You
higher.
fumbled.
I didn't roll. Yeah, I fumbled once. I didn't roll anything higher than a 3 on any of my 3 attacks,
That's right.
which wasn't good. At which point Sam goes 6.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're boned.
Power sworded off of any. Just died instantly.
Did you get an injury for him? Or did
No,
you go out alright?
he made a full recovery. I had one other person who was out of action at the end, and he picked up a wound in his right arm. And this is the same chap who's picked up an old battle wound as well. But he went up to toughness 4, which is quite handy, so hopefully now he'll be a little bit less prone to wounds. The good thing, though, was having done so many wounding hits, and mainly from feeding off Sam's ghouls, was I had 5 wounding hits amongst my gang at the end, which is pretty good. So I got a load of experience from that. But my actual experience rolls were really bad. I had 2 which were 6s, which were great. And then of the others, nothing was higher than a 3. But I still got a good number of skill increases, mainly just because of the sheer number of wounding hits. So I'm definitely turning more in towards a shooting gang, I think. I've got a couple more ballistic skill increases. I've only had 1 weapon skill increase across the entire, all 3 games of the gang. But it's not too big a deal. I've now got 3 gangers with ballistic skill 4, which isn't too shabby at all.
Nice.
Got a couple of... The other useful thing was that I put all my Juves into this mission to try and get them some more experience, and it worked. All of them apart from 1 are now gangers. So I've got only 1 Juve left in the gang, which is quite handy. Of them, the Juve that I've got left and one of the now gangers both have gunfighter. So what I did was one of my former Jews went up in ballistic skill, so I took his las pistol and gave it to ones with gunfighter, and bought him a las gun because he's going to be sitting back and shooting a bit now. and bought my other gunfighter a second las pistol. So I've now got 2 of them running around with 2 las pistols each, which is going to be handy just to finally start to get that skill that they've had for a little while but not being able to use yet. And then other than that, got a medic on one of my gangers, which is really handy and nice to get with double 6, and then getting with 4 on the techno table, which is why I always go with techno if I get to choose the skill table. Always techno. I just find
It's got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just find the skills are so good on there. Mainly, I think it's because I sort of look at the rose-tinted lenses where I can never get these except for my leaders or my heavy.
Yeah.
Or unless they're a double 1 or a double 6. I thought, go that and got my medic, which is great because it means I feel a little bit more comfortable now when it comes to rolling on the serious injury chart. It's a little bit less hairy every time my leader goes out of action.
You can be a bit more reckless in your games as well.
Yeah, a little bit. And then one of my gunfighter gangers got jump back. You see, got up enough skills. Went for agility, and I quite like the agility skills on gangers. I find other ones I can get. Shooting's good, but now that having got gunfighter on him, the only one I'd really want is marksman, so I can re-roll the to wound rolls.
That's crackshot, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, that's crackshot. Yeah.
Crackshot really.
Yeah.
really
There's a couple more useful skills in there, but I quite wanted agility just to try and get him where I want him to be because he's going to be going forwards now with the other gunfighter. And so getting jump back on him was nice. He's not particularly geared for combat. He's a stony weapon skill 2, so he came up through the ranks from a Juve. So having a 50-50 chance of just stepping out of combat every time someone hits him is...
Does your gunfighter have
Pretty-
jump back?
Yes.
So there's nothing quite like going into combat, jumping back and then shooting someone twice in the face?
Pretty much exactly.
Give him a sword and he's more likely to survive a bit and then
Yeah.
get him out.
And that's just about everything. Got a couple of people who are just a little bit shy of getting another skill increase, but overall, fairly happy with how that game went. To be honest, only end up with 1 credit overall at all because Sam and I agreed that I really wanted my heavy with Flamer back because he's actually quite a decent heavy. He's got a decent number of experience points. He has got a +1 strength, which is kind of useless on him, but I still wanted him back. So I said I'll give Sam 40 credits and the chainsaw that I had floating around in exchange just to get the heavy back complete with all his equipment, which is quite steep. I maybe, if it was going to cost me 40 credits, maybe should have just gone to try and rescue the heavy anyway and then paid the 40 credits to get a flamer for him afterwards. But the guarantee on getting him back with all the kit and not getting anyone damaged at all in the process against a Van Saar gang, which to be honest is quite a bit better than mine, I think was worth paying a little bit more for.
So obviously that was Sam's other gang, the Van Saar gang, which we were playing with last week, where you got your heavy captured. Obviously that's not his Scavvy gang that he's running this week.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But they're bitching.
there we go.
So yeah, that's how it looks from the top.
Cool. Yeah, well, there we go. So yeah, good game. Obviously Dave couldn't make it in time for this game today.
I saw most of it. It was fun.
Yeah, but yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's what we've been gaming today. Obviously now we're gonna crack out a bit of Mordheim. Sam and I played it for the first time on the weekend, didn't we? We had a little got a test game.
I couldn't roll anything but 1 to wound.
No change there then. But yeah,
That would be why your ghouls are shit.
yeah, that's true.
No, I just got shot and even got into combat, so... These pussies.
But
I
yeah,
want to fight him, he might eat me.
says the man who in Mordheim was using his chaos and hiding around a building because I had 1 crossbow.
You had 2!
One.
You had a guy with a pistol as well.
Yeah, but he's got a 6-inch range.
So? Then you hid all your guys underneath him, just like standing there, so if you charge me, you get shot with a pistol.
There you go.
And a crossbow.
I have all this
That's
fun
it.
to come.
There you go. But anyway, that's what we tested. We were just literally testing out the rules. We didn't really pay any attention to the... We did the after battle sequence, but...
Just see how it was.
Yeah, exactly, just to see how it flowed. We didn't actually record the results or anything like that. We just wanted to test the rule system, test our gangs or war bands, see how they would sort of function together and if we wanted to make any changes. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good stuff. It was good stuff.
I think I'm going to really enjoy playing Mordheim and advancing the guys over the course of the campaign. I think the rules they've done a lot of tweaking from Necromunda, and I think a lot of it's for the better. The fact that you don't have to worry about which way your guys advance. You know, that you can pick your skills and you can pick either weapon skill or ballistic skill when you roll that particular upgrade. Means you never have to worry about things like, you know...
Like your heavy ending up with weapon skill 4.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, I've got a guy who's got weapon skill and ballistic skill 4 in my gang, you know, it's just like, well...
Yeah.
I guess it's nice to be able to sort of like chop and change like that, but realistically, you do kind of want people to specialise in one way or the other.
Especially because you have quite a bit of a lower model count in wartime, don't you?
Yeah,
So having people who are doing things they're not meant to be doing and aren't benefiting the gang is a complete waste of a skill roll.
Yeah.
I think it might be fun to play a Necromunda campaign with some Mordheim tweakings going on, just to see how it changes it.
Isn't Mordheim a newer game than Necromunda?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So they've probably taken a few things which...
Yeah, well, that's the
needed
point now.
tweaking.
They've looked at Necromunda and gone, let's make a fantasy and also let's fix all this stuff in the process.
Yeah. The fact that you can...
Essentially, they're based on the editions that they're on. Like, Necromunda's 2nd edition 40k, and Mordheim is whatever edition it was at the time.
5th or 6th edition.
I think it was 6th. But... Yeah, but there's things that obviously there are situations that arise in these games that didn't have the similar place in the games. So, for example, charging stuff that you can't see. Obviously in 40k 2nd ed, you couldn't do it. You had to draw a line of sight, and if you couldn't, then you couldn't charge. So that's how it is in Necromunda. In 6th ed fantasy, that was also the case. If you can't draw a line of sight to something, then you can't charge it. But obviously in Mordheim, that's not the case. You can, if something's within your initiative range... You can test, I think it's an initiative test, and then if you pass it, you can still charge. So, you know, they've taken these things and they thought, well, you know, this is annoying in Necromunda. Having someone one bulkhead above me that has just run up there, that I've seen him run, but some reason I can't just go charging in. It doesn't really make sense. I like the idea that you could take an initiative test to, you know... to think, okay, is he still up there? Can I charge him without just walking into a trap? You know, you're kind of making these checks, and then if you pass, your character can go ahead and, you know...
It seems more silly in Necromunda as well, because you have the whole running initiative range block thing. So they've accounted for it in that instance. If you run within someone's initiative range, you have to stop moving.
Yeah.
But you can't then charge them or something in a future turn if you can't see someone. But you know they're there. It's a bit weird.
It's, you know, it's particularly problematic when you get into a situation like we have done in the past, where there'll be two gangers at the top of a tower or something, and in each other's turn, they just move behind the other one, out of their line of sight, take a pop shot, and then the other person has to then move around again and then take their shot, and neither one of them can charge because they're constantly moving out of line of sight. And it just, that doesn't make sense. You know, if you know there's a guy who's behind you, you can turn around and start a fight with him. You know, it's not like you're going to be like, oh, where is he? I can't charge. Oh, there he is. You know, it's not playing peekaboo with the baby. So anyway, those are sort of changes that I quite like the idea of in Mordheim. So let's see, you know, as you say, maybe we could incorporate some of them into future Necromunda campaigns if we find that they work.
Yeah, might be fun just to do a couple of games to see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean...
unless you're better.
Or in Mordheim. Oh, you mean...
In Necromunda. I'll take all the good shooting. So yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, today's game is going to be Mordheim, as we mentioned earlier. I'm not sure what scenario... We haven't really actually talked about it. What scenario we're going to play, who's going to play...
Death Punch.
Well, it's only the two. It's only you and Sam that have actually got any more time so far. I haven't got anything yet.
No, it's true, but...
I don't have anything. I've got a sheet of paper that says what I should have. And then I have lots of models over there.
I'm more than happy just to watch at the moment.
We have plenty of proxy models, so, you know, I think it would be unwise to play a 3 or 4 player game to start with anyway, because we don't know the rules well enough. So, you know, perhaps Sam, if you want to give Dave a game.
Well, I mean, my leaving
Well, Sam,
times,
if you want to go home.
Yeah, I was going to say, my leaving time's probably not going to
Bedtime
function well with that. Exactly.
Okay, well, or potentially you guys can play and I can...
I'll watch you two play. It gives me the opportunity to go downstairs and poke the ferrets every now and then.
I'm sure
Tom likes to watch while he pokes his ferret.
I do.
It's poking my ferret, unfortunately.
Yeah, you want to watch that?
That's even worse.
Okay, well, Dave and I, in that case, will just play a basic equivalent of gang fight.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
I haven't played before, so...
Yeah, and we'll
Be
go
good
through
to get to grips with things.
the rules and that, and yeah.
We'll let you know how it goes, if you're still listening.
Indeed, we'll report back in a bit. Anyway, thanks for listening, and yeah, enjoy this song, and we will be back shortly after. Dave, don't sing a song. It's going to be a different song. It's going to be music. Stop singing. Stop. Hello and welcome back. So we've just finished playing our game of Mordheim. In the end it was Dave and myself that played, with Tom watching. Sam, as usual, had to zoom off to catch his train to be able to get home.
I totally won.
Dave totally lost in that game.
You almost said one.
I did almost say one, actually, you're right. Yeah, it was interesting. In the end we decided to play what would be the equivalent of a gang fight. I can't remember what the mission's called.
Just to get used to the rules.
Yeah, it's essentially the slog towards each other, shooting and getting into combat. But yeah, it was an interesting game. The layout of the board was kind of, city streets, so there was a lot of open spaces, but a lot of places to sort of duck in and weave. But I think Dave just went for the kind of wave of zombies.
I'm used to playing Chaos as well, so I just kind of march forward until I hit something in the face.
Yeah, which is pretty much what happened, really, wasn't
it? Yes, it was. It was very bloody, or bloodless, if you count Undead as being not bloody.
Yeah.
But quite violent.
Yeah, but no, it was good. I mean, yeah, as I said, it was... You kind of stomped on through the streets. I kind of held back a little bit, took a couple of pot shots.
Counter charge.
Yeah, a couple of pot shots with the crossbow. I'm waiting for the counter charge.
Which actually didn't work, because my guys just about got into range on the first charge, didn't they?
Yeah, I slightly misjudged the amount of distance we had, so yeah, you managed to charge me. I think...
Well, I still lost that flank worth of combat in the end, but...
Well, I tried to charge my dogs forward at first. Two of them failed their fear tests and stayed where they were, and one went on his own and then promptly got smushed.
Yeah. How does it feel, Adam, to be on the receiving end of the fear checks?
Yeah, that's right. What do you mean? I play Skaven.
Undead army, man.
Yeah. It's not as bad anymore. But anyway, yeah, so... And then, yeah, obviously you counter-charged in my failed dog charge.
With my direwolf, my vampire, and two of my ghouls, who are awesome in combat, except when they're on ones.
Yeah. And I think in the end, even though you charged in against a flagellant, two dogs, and...
another flagellant before you got your warrior priest involved.
Correct, yeah. And you smushed one flagellant and knocked the other one down, but it didn't kill him.
Then he got back up and smushed my doggy.
He got back up, smushed your doggy, my dogs both ganged up on the ghouls and ate them. And then your vampire killed the flagellant, and then from around the corner I had 2...
Witch hunter and your warrior priest.
Yeah, warrior priest and a witch hunter.
Mm.
And in the end they ganged up and managed to...
One guy tried to charge but failed a fear check and then went off in a different direction.
Yeah.
And attacked some zombies, I think.
Yeah, but they managed to smack your vampire down.
Yeah. I managed to take your warrior priest down after a flurry of sword blows, but then the witch hunter got the better of me.
Yeah, and he took him down in the end.
With his stupid hammer.
And then on the other side of the board, I basically just had like 2 henchmen that got mobbed by about 6 zombies or something. And
all of the zombies.
Yeah, so that was kind of rough. Man, zombies are fucking gross.
I lucked out with the spell that lets me... Well, I say lucked out because the zombies didn't do a lot necessarily, but the spell that lets me charge or move one of my zombies extra if he's in range. So and it counts as charging if they get into base-to-base contact. So that gave me a little bit of an edge, but still, it was 5v2 for the majority of that flank. It's
the fact that they get back up. You have to take them out of action. Like a stunned or a knockdown result is essentially the same thing with zombies. So, I was beating them in combat and smacking them down. They were just getting right back up again, which I guess is correct for zombies. That's how you'd expect them to behave. It's just really difficult because you get mobbed by them really quickly.
Mm. I mean, they are very slow and shambling because they can only move 4 unless they charge.
Yeah.
So they take a bit longer to get there, but as long as they've got the Necromancer backing them up.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. What did you think?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah.
There's always new system, even though it's got a lot of similarities to everything else. It's still getting used to its own bunch of rules, so it's good to practice and get into it. And I like the way everything works. It seems quite fluid.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of snag points. There's a couple of situations you get into, as with anything, where you think, I don't know how these rules work together and what can I do if I can't see that guy but I can do this. But that's just experience. But generally, it works well.
It's only the second game of Mordheim.
Mordheim.
Second game of Mordheim that I've actually played.
Yeah.
And obviously you're first, so, I guess we're probably getting rules wrong a little bit or
I'm sure.
misinterpreting things. But it'll get quicker and...
I'm not liking short bows so much. I probably don't like bows that much either if I try and use them.
I don't think they really fit in an undead army either, do they?
Well, I gave them to the dregs, who are the human guys that do whatever the vampire tells them to. They're just happy to be alive and not eaten. So it's the only people I think I could give them. I could give it to my Necromancer or my vampire, but that doesn't really suit. But the dregs I didn't see so much. It was more to try them out and see how they do, and I don't think I'm going to bother in my actual thing. I'm just going to move everyone forwards.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we'll keep any of these gangs when we start playing more.
It's probably going to be similar to my starting setup, but it's definitely going to get tweaked a bit.
Yeah. I think... I don't know, I'm in 2 minds. I mean, I've got, this crossbow in my starting gang.
You did spend most of the game shooting at my guy across the other side of the table.
And missing.
Yeah, and I did the same in reciprocation, except mine was a short bow, so I had a significantly worse chance. I think I was hitting on 8s.
Yeah.
And I didn't roll 1/6, so...
I think once you've got some sort of ballistic skill upgrade, it could be worth having those sort of items, because obviously you get to pick, so as soon as you roll that...
And the shooting skills as well.
Yeah, and the shooting skills, it seems like shooting will suddenly become more viable in the late game, unless you're taking dwarves, of course. But in the start, I don't think it's very effective.
And for me as well, dregs, they can't take shooting skills, and they have a ballistic skill of 2. So
so
apart from an early game waste of 5 credits just so I can have some kind of counter to shooting, I think a better counter is just charging past you and hoping you can't shoot me for that long.
Yeah.
That long.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
But I had to try it out to learn that for myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, it's interesting. It's good. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to getting the gang, getting the warband painted up and ready, and actually playing some more games and a bit of a campaign.
Yep.
So obviously, Sam, you watched...
Tom,
you watched some of that from the sidelines. Was there anything that you interested you, or that you didn't like, or that you thought was kind of cool?
Shooting looks good, but not overpowered unless you don't have enough scenery. Because I could see how, with 4 missile weapons in my starting gang, could easily thin out people's numbers before you can get to me. But combat is, as in a lot of games, especially Necromunda, combat's very decisive.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there, but it ends games quite quickly. or not quickly if you just can't roll very well. That seems to be the case here.
Yeah.
Looks good. It's going to take some getting used to with a rule set which is similar to but also quite different from Necromunda in places, and to be honest is outdated compared to what I mainly play, which is fantasy.
Yeah.
It looks like a good fun game overall.
Yeah.
It's definitely tailored towards a skirmish, which I guess is the point.
Yeah, I think you have to kind of try and disconnect it from fantasy as well, because a lot of the times as we were playing, I was thinking to myself when we got certain rules,
Well, it works this way in fantasy.
exactly.
So this should happen, but it probably doesn't.
Yeah, and then you check the rules and actually no, that's not the way
Totally
that it works here at all. It's completely different.
And we didn't get into anything like interception charges with people in front and stuff. Well, I don't think there was actually that much of an opportunity for it to happen. But
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I don't think it would have actually happened, but yeah, it's
those kind of more advanced rules, I guess, will just come about later on.
2 games in. I think we're doing okay. We just need to
Yeah, definitely.
keep reading the rules, keep practicing.
We need the listeners to make a decision as well. Because for my Vampire Lord, I'm either going to take Krell, the Lord of Undeath, or the White Knight, White King.
Yeah.
Both undead, both awesome models. In fact, we discussed them in the last podcast, possibly, because I said I bought them and I was happy with them.
You did.
But I'm going to base my Vampire's gear, fluff-wise, on what the model has. So if I take Krell, he's going to be a heavy armour, crazy dude with a 2-handed axe, and then I'm just going to hope that I get a skill up and take the one that means he doesn't always strike last, because that would be a bit of shit for a vampire.
So Blood Dragon, basically.
Yes. Or I can take the White Knight, and then he's going to have armour, maybe a shield, although I hear that they're not too useful, and a sword, or maybe 2 swords.
So more of a general vampire.
Yeah, run forwards, stabby stab.
Cast
Look
sign
cool.
or whatever.
But then maybe I could use the White Knight, White King as my Necromancer model. I don't know. What should I do? Send in your emails to someone who really likes you.
Don't do that. So a general call out. Are you willing to go by the general consensus? If anyone posts a comment on this YouTube video or
That isn't
sends
involved
an
in
email,
our group.
What's that?
That isn't involved.
That isn't involved in our group. Yeah, okay, I'm
So,
happy with that.
Tom, you can't email, and you're not allowed to ask one of your friends to do it on purpose or something.
Yeah, no, that's cool. You will go by that.
Yeah,
decision.
I'm all for the fluff. I'm quite happy.
Alright, hear that, viewers. Either post a comment under this video or on YouTube, or you can email me at atticgamingclub@gmail.com, or if you feel the need, on the Facebook or Twitter, Attic Gaming Club. And yeah, tell us what model Dave should use for his vampire, whether it should be Krell or whether it should be the White Lord model. And
I'd be quite happy with Krell. I mean, the double-handed axe is +2 strength, so he'd be strength 6, off the bat, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Striking last, yeah, but
No, I think that's cool. Alright, guys, and when, as soon as somebody picks it, you have to pick that and, make that model up and put it in your warband and then post a picture or something proving
I've
that
already
you've got
started
that.
on the models. I've actually got them half cleaned up and mould lines removed and everything, so I've just got to stick them together.
You should give me the model that you don't end up using for my Undead.
I don't think, because then you'll have 2 White Knights, White Kings, White Lords, whatever they're called.
White King.
And
That's
you
fine.
don't need that, because you're the reason I bought it, because I saw that you had one and he's awesome and you wouldn't give him to me, so I had to buy one. Boom.
He is awesome. Cool, there we go. Nothing like a little bit of incentive for a bit of commenting.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, cool. So Tommy, you're going to be jumping on to Mordheim soon.
I am. I need to get hold of some models first. Decide what ones I
Just
want.
use your Deluxe, it'll be fine.
Might just pull out my old fancy dwarf army and take some models out of there in the meantime.
Yeah, you could always run. I don't know.
Well, my
Shoot
first
the-
game was an undead army made up entirely of Skaven models, so
Yeah,
we have no problem with proxies here, unless you hate it yourself.
No, I don't mind. I'll find something
Yeah,
for whatever we decide to do next week.
yeah, cool.
I think I've got some old dwarf models, if you need some extras, just from the starter paint set or something from Fantasy 5 editions ago. They're just standing there with an axe and a tiny little hat.
I actually have loads of dwarf bits if you're interested. Not models, but if you ever needed to deck out your dwarves.
Okay.
There you go.
I built a dwarf army for someone and ended up with all the bits from it. So
Fair enough. I'm actually looking to sell. Well, I say I'm looking to sell my dwarf army. I've not really done anything towards selling it. It's just sat in a box.
You
You've
want
got a
to
full
you want
army?
to sell it in the future.
Yeah, I've got a full dwarf army. I just don't want it anymore. I'm not.
Give it to me.
No, I'm not giving it away.
Why not?
you give it to him and
It'll
he'll give you some cash.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that one. I don't. That's a bad deal. No deal.
Same with Dark Elf Army. I'm looking to sell, but I, at the same time, just can't be bothered to get around to doing it.
£5.
No.
£5 is the bid to beat.
No.
Okay.
About all they're worth. Cheaters.
Oh, so rude. But yeah, cool. Well, okay. I mean, yeah, you know, we'll hopefully get some more more time going in the new year.
Mordheim.
Mordheim, and obviously Necromunda because it's wicked.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, what about coming up? Obviously, we've still got a bit of holiday time before people have to go back to work, or not back to work in some people's cases.
I'm back at work.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Boom.
Right. Well, I've got some time off.
There's the weekend and the New Year.
Anything planned, Dave?
Yes, actually, New Year I am partying with friends, and then on New Year's Day I am heading to a friend's to play some board games. Probably Carcassonne, because I bought that for them for Christmas. And we have Risk Legacy, which we've heard really good things about, but we haven't got around to starting yet, so we might try to get 1 or 2 games of that in. And also I have my space game that I got from Escher, which I still haven't played yet, because you guys are lame. What's that called? Something. You build a space station out of stuff. It's similar to what we played at Rick's.
Yeah.
With cubes and energy management. It looked cool. So we're going to play those things. And then afterwards, I don't know, I'll come around yours and punch you.
Nah, it doesn't sound like a good plan.
Okay. Let's not do that.
Tom?
I'm going to think about painting my Blood Bowl team.
I think about painting things all the time.
It's about the extent of what I'm going to be getting up to. I've got no painting drive in me at the moment. I go through stages where I can paint when I've got something to do, and then for most of the rest of the year, like a good 9 months of the year, I just can't face picking up a paintbrush.
I'll say, for someone who has no paint drive, you get a lot of painting done compared to me. And I love painting, I just really fail at getting it done ever.
Yeah.
I love painting once I get started, but it's getting started.
What was the last model you painted?
One of my Chaos Warriors. No, I've done something since then. I can't remember what. Something at home that you haven't seen, probably, because I've hidden it away.
Because your lies.
Maybe.
I think you haven't painted anything in the last 4 years. Shh. Well, anyway, okay. Well, I'm going to continue painting these spires, and then hopefully get some Eschers painted as well. I'm making bases for the Mordheim guys at the moment, my cobblestone bases, so I can't really start undercoating or painting any of them until that's done. But then at that point, I guess I'll start jumping on them as well.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at some bases actually for my guys. Either making some or some of the... Is it the Cyborg ones they do? They do nice bases.
So
there's a bunch of different companies that do some good bases.
So I'm going to have a look around and try and get something, just because it's a small group of people, so I don't mind spending it out a bit more to make them look funky.
Yeah, exactly.
That's once I confirm exactly what models I get, and if I get all the ones from Redbox Games Kickstarter within the next couple of months.
Yeah, it's the same. I don't mind custom building all these cobblestone bases for my Mordheim game, because there's only 12 of them. I don't think I could do it for a whole army, but 12 is fine. Cool. Alright then, well I guess we'll wrap it up here for today.
Le wrap.
Thanks for listening, if you've made it this far. Remember, if you've got any comments or questions or general, information requests, I don't know, anything.
Krell or the White Knight. Woo!
Yeah, don't forget, leave a comment. Dave has to do whatever you guys tell him. That also includes punching himself in the dick.
I do that anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, please leave a comment under this video, or email at atticgamingclub@gmail.com, or at atticgamingclub on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon.
Ciao,
Thanks for
babe.
listening. Bye bye.